Good evening. So one is the one of the final assignments we have for this course, excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold, is to do a video journal answering the following questions. What life experience led you down this path? List your greatest successes thus far. What challenges have you overcome and what challenges still remain? Overall, what did you learn from this course? And finally, what are your future goals? So, what led me down this path? Well, that's kind of a interesting subject. So, I finished my BSN in 2022. I became a nurse in 1991 with an associate degree, and finally finished my BSN program in 2022. I didn't figure I had another 30 years to let the dust settle on my desk before I got my next degree, so I signed up for FMP. The other thing that kind of motivated me was I worked as a disease management nurse for DaVita, a division of DaVita called Village Health. And what we did is we had a roster of 120 to 140 patients that were a mixture of CKD and ESRD patients. So patients that had chronic kidney disease that were not yet on renal replacement therapy, and then ESRD patients that were either on peritoneal or hemodialysis. And what we did was we would try to get the patients to manage their diseases more efficiently through education, motivational interviewing, and setting of SMART goals. And it really worked. And so I figured I could make a bigger impact on patients if I was the actual provider of care instead of being the nurse. I would have a more active role in doing that. So I kind of want to take those same disease management techniques that I learned in Village Health and take that into primary care. My successes this far. I think my greatest success is actually just sticking to it. I really struggled through the 3Ps. I had to take physiology twice, pathophysiology, I had to take that twice, and I had to take pharmacology twice. And so just kind of really sticking to it and not giving up on myself, I think has been my biggest success thus far. And also my biggest challenge. I figured this was an endurance race, not a sprint. And as long as I didn't tell myself that I couldn't do it, it could still be done. Challenges that still remain, the amount of material that we have to now is daunting. But it's a lifetime of learning, right? One of the other things I call this program is my Alzheimer's prevention program. And so the learning is going to continue from now until the time I'm not a nurse practitioner anymore. So we're going to still be on that big learning curve. And I'm also going from being an expert in my field. I've been a dialysis nurse for over 25 years to being kind of the novice. So that's kind of really humbling. And I think that's kind of a challenge too, to step into that role where you're not the expert anymore. Overall, what did I learn from this course? I think from this whole program, what I've learned a lot about just how much care patients are responsible for on their own, and how actually very little support they get from the healthcare system, right? And so I'd like to try to find a way to kind of make that a little more even and take some of that burden from the patients. In the clinic where I've been, there are a lot of the entities that do not play well together, the collaborative entities that don't really collaborate. And so it's up to the patient's responsibility to transfer information, right, from one place to another. And if we can make that a little more integrated, I think that would take some of the burden off of the patient. And then future goals. I had originally kind of started this thinking that I would specialize in neurology nursing, but the more I learned about primary care, the more I realized that I really like it. I like looking at different disease processes, looking at um, different types of illnesses rather than just the kidneys, and just kind of trying to figure all those things out. Um, it's kind of the same stuff over and over again, but also every once in a while you get something really intriguing and out of the ordinary, and kind of makes your day, to learn something new. So um, I have toyed with the idea of opening my own practice at some point. Um, that remains to be seen. I need to get to a place where I'm more comfortable in primary care. I'm going to be on that huge learning curve for probably about another year. Kind of the same way it was when we became nurses, right? We thought we knew a lot of stuff when we graduated, but we actually did not. And the same thing I think is going to apply with family practice, that we're going to get out there and we're going to discover all the things that we don't know. And it's going to be a big learning curve still for about another year. And that's kind of where I'm at. I have really enjoyed meeting all of you and collaborating with you on the different projects and things. And I hope to see some of you at graduation. And thank you, Dr. Silverman, for all your help and guidance on the capstone project. You all have a great night. Bye-bye.